Greetings, friends. Your cartoonist pal Stan here with a brand new episode of Random Encounters, the show where I use random encounter tables, like the kind you find in tabletop role playing games, such as Dungeons and Dragons, together with electronic die rollers and input from you, people in the live chat room right now, to create randomly generated drawing prompts. Things that I don't know what they are. Got a little idea of what they might be, but I don't know what they're going to be. And certainly I don't know what you're going to say. And after we figure out what those are, I draw them. I draw them while you're watching. I draw them for your entertainment and mine. Because this is all about the fact that drawing's fun. Drawing's a fun thing to do. I do it for fun. I do it for my work too. The reason I got to do it for my work is because I did it so much for my fun. And this is an exercise that I've worked out in the past for my. I'm looking at my hair; it looks kind of wonky on the side. I did it in the past just as kind of an ideation exercise or a practice drawing, coming up with ideas quickly. And it turns out that it's also a fun thing to do here for y'all to join in on. And I hope that you will. Hope those of you that are watching will join us in the live chat and throw ideas out, throw concepts out, and ask questions because I need to talk about something while I'm drawing. I pretty much blather pretty easily, so if no one asks anything, I'll just say some kind of crap. But all the better if I can answer questions of yours. I also, of course, will give tips on drawing, tell you what I'm thinking about, why it is I'm doing what I'm doing, sometimes describe what it is I'm doing, because you're going to be seeing what you're going to be seeing is the view on my iPad. You won't be seeing my hands. Some people have asked me about that. They'd want to see down to see me drawing, actually see the hands while I'm working. That would require more cameras than I've got here. Got the one camera, um, and more lighting, and it's just kind of a little extra complicated. Certainly, it might be fun, but you know what you see is the strokes as I make them, and as I mentioned, it's on an iPad using an Apple Pencil and the app Procreate. People do want to know that, so I say it every week. I also make sure to say not sponsored. Not sponsored by any of them. And I do also always say I'm totally open to it. And others, if someone else wants to be a sponsor, bring it on. As long as I'm picky. I won't just sponsor anything. But if you want me to mention what you got going on, give me some simoleons in exchange. We can work something out. Hello, Michael. How are you, Michael, in the chat? Uh, uh, do I have a new camera? No, same camera, same camera. I updated the camera about 4 or 5 months ago, round about the beginning of the year. I got a new camera. Um, uh, or the strokes I have when I'm drawing 100 characters. I didn't have any strokes that night. Did break a sweat though. Um, Yes, that was a fun night, and I did only did 84 characters. Let's be honest, my goal was 100, and I think it's important to say I did not hit the 100, but 84 that night was still a good workout and a good achievement. I don't feel too bad about that. You got to set goals that are not that easy to hit. You don't want to hit all your goals first time out. You want to have to learn something and build up to it. And I think that that was both a successful evening and it left me with something to learn and to try again. So there we go. Um, Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say before we get started. Probably not. I think I'm good. I'm feeling good. Hope everyone out there is doing good. Michael, you doing good? So I've got to get my iPad ready so I can share the screen with you. Move over here, and I will turn this over here, and you can see these are the encounters tables we are working with this evening. And as usual, I will probably do 3 drawings, and it'll take around an hour and a half, and then we'll call it an evening. Um, there's one I just gave up on. Well, there was one. You know what? I didn't just give up on it. It was a request that I said I'm not going to do it, and I I didn't do it by showing you why I didn't do it. There were a couple that I just didn't. So I was going over the results of the 84 different ones these past couple of weeks, and there are a couple that are more unfinished than the rest. But there was only one that I really just kind of chucked, and I deleted it. But the reason was that I had no intention of doing that one. That came in as a request, and I think it was Dorothy tap dancing. I think Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz tap dancing, something like that. And there was a reason that I didn't want to do that, but I don't remember which one I said out loud. I can think of several in my head right now. So there you go. Here we go. Let's do it, shall we? Yes, let's. So we're going to come over here and we're going to pull up the die roller and we're going to roll the dice and see what we get. So our first who is a 2. 2 is our first who, and our first what is also a 2. I'm going to come back here and see that that is, come on, a dire boar planting a garden. All right, a dire boar planting a garden. So turn off the images, come back. I've got my inking brush that I like to use. I'm using blue for sketches, as I usually do. And we're going to go. Clog dancing. Yes, that could well be it. That's even more reason not to do it. All right, a dire boar. Dire boar, in D&D terms, is just a big honking monstrous boar. Think about the boars from Princess Mononoke. Now, I could. Here we go. The more I don't do anything, I could. They're going to have big tusks. I could have him standing and show him doing that. That makes him feel more like a werebear or some kind of humanoid boar. I'm thinking I want to keep him as a boar. Come on. I didn't do what I wanted to do. Okay, we're going to clear that layer. Or, zoom in here, we can have him be a big old boar like that, just kind of going for shape-wise here. With a head, and a snout, and tusks. Could have him snuffling, using his snout to plow the earth. That's probably what we'll do. So it's going to be furrowing the field. I'm trying to think of boars. Got a boar head. The snout and the tusks come out up. Okay. I think he's gonna need someone to be walking behind him planting seeds. In order for this to be doing any good. Let's make that bigger on the page. Alright, so what we're going to have here is the boar multiple tusks. Furrowing the field, and behind him we will have someone with a bag of seeds. Throwing them out. Maybe we'll make him an elf. Why? Because we want it to feel somewhat fantastical, right? Hello, Perry. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. In my gut, I'm getting this feeling like, is this really gardening? More like farming. But I think it's a fine place. Fine place to go for this evening's entertainment, and we can argue about it later. There we go. Let's go to our lines layer. And I always say start with lines that you are confident in, and I think that the lines I'm confident in here are the eyes. I'm going to give him, again, to emphasize the direness of this dire boar, we'll give him heavy-lidded eyes. Multiple tusks. Very hairy. Trying to think of some way to turn this into more of a gag than it is. And nothing's coming to my head right now. If you guys can think of anything, throw it out there in the chat. I'll have a look as we get deeper into this. Mr. Dyrol, this is a dire boar gardening is what the dice gave us here. It does look like the guy is spanking the boar. It shouldn't look like that when I'm done. I see where you might see that. That would be a very different kind of episode, wouldn't it? If we had spanking on the list. All right, but what I am thinking is that maybe I need to make this guy trailing behind the boar a little smaller. So I'm gonna grab him and put him down a little lower, and then that'll help make it look less like he's spanking the boar. We may have just come up with a brand new euphemism. Is that guy there spanking the boar? No, 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 you don't do that in public. We're actually going to write seeds on the side of this thing like it's a editorial cartoon. And we're going to show him throwing seeds out to be planted. You see? No spanking going on here. That's going to stick with me. This idea is going to stick with me. All right. And I'm going to turn off the sketch layer, and we're going to see what we got here. Where do we need a few extra lines just to liven things up? Nothing to see here. Move along. That's right. Those of you who came expecting to see some boar spanking, sorry to disappoint you, but that's just not going to be happening here. You can move along. This would be a pretty effective way to plow some fields. I got nothing against, oxen or mules, but get a big dire boar, you're probably going to do a better, an easier job of it. All right, let's switch over to the gloaming brush and up the size a bit because we got a large boar here, and we are going to. In, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I should give him some kind of coloring other than just a flat brownish gray. Darker for the tail, darker for the legs that are behind. Probably a pinkish nose. Get a little brownish yellow to highlight the tusks. Our elven farmer. This is coming together a little too easy, a little too quickly. I'm not used to that. darker brown for the earth, even darker for the back furrow. Put a little bit of shading in. See, I picked a shade of this brown, which is darker than what we've got on the main fur, but not as dark as what I gave for the tuft on the tail or the legs that are in shadow. That's one of the things you kind of get used to, is deciding just how different the color needs to be in order to create that illusion of a secondary color, and yet not be so different that it implies just the right amount of difference, I suppose, is a way of saying it. And that's the kind of thing you get by just trial and error. Trial and error, and then you get a feel for it after a while. And doesn't always work out. There we go, that's better. Wonder what he's planting. The Adventures of Adventurer's Guide to Dire Gardening. All right, there we go. I think that's about it. We got ourselves a farmer using a dire boar to do some gardening. God, imagine the size of the truffles he'd find. So come back to the line slayer, come back to my inking brush, and throw a stand down here, because we have completed our first drawing of the night, a dire boar gardening. Yeah, no, imagine the size of the truffles he'd find. That's like the punchline I'd want to work with if this was being used for anything else. The idea of using dire boars to go truffle hunting. All right, you know what? Since we finished this one a little quickly, I just remembered one of the things I did want to tell you. So I talk about it sometimes, and we finish these drawings, and sometimes, like this one, this is fun. This is good. We did it. I'm happy with it. I'm probably never going to do anything else with it. There's not enough there. But sometimes some of the drawings we do have a really good idea, and kind of puffing myself up by saying this, I hit something I like, that I think, oh, there's an idea there, or that's an image I'd like to see. And what we're doing here is a quick half-hour sketch, right? Doing a very fast sketch, very quick lines, loose coloring, and sometimes when I do find something I like, I wind up redoing it, and in a more completed way. Very often with the idea of turning them into stickers or making other uses of them. And today, I just sent out an order for two stickers I'm having printed that are based off drawings that were done for the show. So I'll show them to you. While we're here, Let's pull back here, and I come over there, and I've got a file full of stickers. These are things I have done stickers of already. Some of them, let's see, how many of them have come from the show? This one came from the show. This is way back. This is back in probably the first 6 months I was doing it. I had a Mind Flayer Drum Major was one of the things. I did that. I printed that as a sticker. I've still got a few left over there. I did I think the owl bear eating an ice cream also came from a drawing here. Uh, Cleaned it up, finished it, did a full coloring job. That's what that looks like. I got a bunch of those printed. I may have some over here. Is that down here? No, no. Yeah, here's one. Here we go. This was what uh, I printed it twice because I didn't mean to print this one here. This is it peels out, and then I also printed this where it stands alone and you don't have the the peely part. That was another one I did. From here, this one for sure, the Medusa selfie was an idea I would not have come up with. This is why I like this show so much. Is it comes up with ideas that I would not have otherwise come to. And the idea of Medusa taking a selfie, um, I just loved that sketch. I so I made it into a sticker. Again, made it into a sticker. I think that these hippos were done as gifts. I think actually, which one did I do the? I think this was a GIF flapper. GIF. Those of you who don't know are D&D creatures, which are basically uplifted hippos. And there's a GIF flapper, or doing the GIF doing the Charleston. One of those two. Again, the original version was sketchy and colored the way we we do during the show, but I go back and I did it, and I like that one so much. I did another uh, afterward, so I could have a pair of them. I did these as a pair of stickers. That's not the next three for sure. I did not do for here, but these are the two that I just sent out. And one is from a few weeks ago where the dragon skateboarding. The drawing that it had been attached to, we had a background there where he was skating along. He was kind of sketching along the top of a parapet for a castle. Um, but I like the way the dragon pose on the skateboard looks, so I just lifted that and redrew that in this finished version. And then the centaur on the pogo stick was one of the ones from the 100 character night. It just kind of came up. I think that was an audience suggestion. I don't remember, but centaur on a pogo stick. And I thought both of these. This one got a lot of likes on my social media, so that's often a clue to me that maybe I should make a sticker out of it if it gets a lot of likes. So I just sent these two off. I sent the centaur on the pogo stick and the dragon skateboarder off to be printed as stickers. So those will be coming in sometime soon. I don't know for sure. I'm gonna be doing a couple of convention and public appearance things. I'll probably bring them with me for sale there. I may make them open. You know what? Leave me a comment if you would like to get those stickers. I will have them for sale. I'm printing about 100, 150 of them. 100? I think I'm printing about 100 of them. Yeah, if you want one, let me know. They will be. Um, I sell them for $5 in person. I sell them for $7 as to include shipping. But if you order multiple It's $5 each with an extra $2 for shipping and handling. However many stickers you want. So there you go. Now you know. Okay, we did it. Let's come back here and turn off round 1, turn on round 2. Turn back on our encounter tables. Have one more sip of the Diet Coke. We did a first drawing. Let's go do a second drawing. Dive back in and see what the dice have in store for us for a second prompt. We had 2 twos last time. What are the dice going to say now? Next they say 6. Sixes, of course. Say it with me now. Adventurers. Adventurers. And 2, no. 5. 6 and 5. Adventurers Fashion Magazine cover. Fashion Magazine cover has been on the tables for a while. I've been kind of waiting for it to come up. Adventure is not exactly what I was hoping would get it, but whatever. Adventurer Fashion Magazine cover. Alright. Turn those off. Turn back the blue sketching. And we're going to have ourselves a magazine cover. I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can do it. So it'll be a magazine like that. And need a title for the magazine. Something like Dungeon Chic. Dungeon should be maybe in. I don't know why I'm even worrying about this, but it should be something like Dungeon Chic. This is going to be the name of our fashion magazine, Donjon. That's a good idea, Barry. I think, yeah, that's good. Okay. So we're going to call it Donjon Chic. And then on the cover, we need something fashion magazine-y. Now, quite a while ago, again, a very early episode of this, I did a wizard runway model, I think was a cue. And I had an old wizard kind of standing there with a big, majestic kind of turn, pivot, hand on hip and back of head. It was kind of funny. But so we're gonna have adventurers. I always kind of lean toward the fighter guy I have. The question is that I'm thinking right now for an expression. I'm gonna give him big long eyelashes. Now, do I make him smile or make him look grumpy? Pursed lips. All right, we're going for the pursed lips looks. That's so. Very often we're going to pull off to the side here. We got the smiles are going up, frowns are going down. Pursed lips are a little tough because it's kind of like that, and then we're going to put the the lips clearly out. But that's going to be what pursed lips look like. Probably with a little suck the chin in on top of it. All right, so that's the basics. Let's zoom that up here. And I think we're going to have a little fashion killer on the side. There we go. You learned that from your daughters. The puffy lips. Okay, let's go to the lines layer, shall we? Got that very quickly. Maybe can put other things on the cover. Usually it'll have one fallout and then maybe the name of a an article over here. So if you guys can think of what article might go into this particular fashion killer issue of Donjon Chic. Um, we'll start with our adventurer here. Let's give him that sexy come hither look with big long eyelashes. The thin, plucked eyebrows. Like that. Makeup designs to enhance your deception rolls. That's a good one. Oh my. Oh my. Quite the hairdo he's got going on here. I know I've stopped talking for a second. That's never really a good idea. I gotta keep talking. Got to keep talking. I'm so wound up in what's going on here in this issue of Donjon Chic. Now I could, as I've shown in the past, I could make these lines all perfectly straight, but I kind of like that by having them not, it increases that feeling that it's a magazine as opposed to a flat single piece of mm, paper or anything. In fact, who knows what it is. All right, so I think I'm gonna start here with the chic because it's coming in front. In the back, I'm gonna play here a little bit with heavy and light lines on these letters. There's going to be one heavy line and one thinner line. Donjon. It's not a terrible um, cover treatment, huh? You might buy that on the newsstand in Waterdeep. It's cracking me up. Oh man, how to use your -3 charisma score to your advantage. All right, let's turn off this sketch and see what this is looking like because there's a lot that's undone here. Um, all right, so here at the top, we're going to say make the most of your -3 charisma. I guess I really need to spell out charisma, which means this whole thing isn't working. But if I grab it carefully, I can move it. Shrink it a little bit. Change the angle slightly. Move it back up. Look at all the things you can do when you work digitally. Come on. There we go. Make the most of your dungeon -3. Maybe emphasize your dungeon -3 charisma. Dungeon chic. Oh, I love it. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Michael says model totally has his Harvey Firestein Torch Song trilogy vibe. Well, what more can a fashion fighter ask for? All right, let's add some color to this here. We're gonna come in. This is gonna call for some special shape within shape thinking. In fact, let me undo that and talk you through what I'm looking here. I'm thinking the forehead is going to be one big shape, one big forehead shape. The eyelids are going to be shaded, of course. But now the cheekbone, if we want to emphasize the cheekbone, it's got to be its own thing. And then both sides of the puckered cheek have to have their own shape. And then under the eyes is its own shape. And then this big hook nose is its own shape. There on the other side, the ears and the neck. But those, by doing that, you see I'm creating, I guess because the flesh color, the pink is so kind of light, it's a little hard to see. But I'm now going to switch colors for pointing it out. I'm creating a space in there between the two of them. And this is definitely its own space. And I've got a space here. So again, I'm emphasizing these three-dimensional points by doing the shapes, doing the shape within the shape of the face. Maybe a mauve color for the lips and the eyelids. Probably we'll get some of that onto the eyebrows too, or eyelashes too. I do want the hair to read, or particularly the beard to read as one big piece, so I'm not worrying about that as a shape. But here in the hair, I'm definitely going to play with this as a shape. And that's even a secondary shape. Each of these big curves is a shape within the shape of the hair. And that, again, helps to create that extra feeling of three-dimensionality. I tell you what, I do, maybe off the mauve, we're going to take a slightly lighter and we're going to put some of that on the cheekbones and under the eye. Oh my. Maybe even over the eye too, to emphasize the makeup that is put on. Oh, he's definitely a fashion killer. And I think maybe orange to for the call out. For the starburst. Background color. I would totally be drawn to this on the newsstand. Jean Chic. Mm. Want to put some kind of little flair. I think I want that to be blue, like the shading in there, but not quite as strong. Okay, Donjon Chic. Add a little blue gray along the sides to flatten out that look, and we have ourselves, I think, a quite believable adventurer fashion magazine. Who wants to subscribe to Donjon Chic? Put a stand at the bottom, and we have ourselves an adventurer fashion magazine cover. Oh, hello, Lala. Thank you for popping in. Good to see you again, my friend. It's still relatively early there in the Philippines, isn't it? No worries. You are welcome anytime you show up with no explanation needed. Put my signature on the magazine. Oh, okay. All right, sure. I can do that. I don't even need a reason. We'll put it down here at the bottom. There. And it even looks like it's part of the magazine. Lala, so glad you could make it. This is our second drawing, of course, our adventurer fashion magazine. Before that, our first one this morning or this evening was a dire boar gardening. So it's using a giant boar as a plow to do some gardening. Um, and then I'm going to turn both of those off and get set for round three because it's time to do that. I'm going to take a slight little break before I do. But, yeah, we're having a fun time tonight. You know what? Now that I don't think of this enough myself. Interestingly, when Lala shows up, it reminds me that I should do it because she so often will do it for me. And I'm going to take a moment here to say, if you're liking this, if you're enjoying the show, take a minute and click like. Give it a heart or a thumbs up, whatever it is on the platform that you're watching. And if you're watching on YouTube, which is my preferred network, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out. Helps me out in all kinds of ways. The main way is that it helps the show get suggested to other people, and so we can bring more of our friends in to watch and enjoy this fun drawing activity with us. Lala says our traditional farmers use uh, caribou. That very okay. Well, there you go. Carabao. So caribou is an elk in the northern climes. Uh, um, I'm not sure what a carabao. I'm going to look that up. What is that? Carabao is an oxen kind of uh, uh, yeah. All right. Well, it works out. Uh, okay. Having a good day today. Having fun. Let's do one more, and then we can move on with the rest of our Thursday, and then into the weekend, which we still got a Friday to get through, but it's almost here. One more time. One more time. There we go. You ready? I'm ready. Okay. Shh. Done 2 drawings now. We had a dire boar planting a garden, and we had Adventurer Fashion Magazine cover, which was a lot of fun. Very fashionable, let me tell you. But now it's time to go back one more time and let the dice tell us what the drawing, or the third drawing for the evening, is going to be. All right, so we're going to roll the dice and roll them, let them go, and it's a 4. 4 is our next who, and 3. 3 is our next what. So a 4 and a 3 gets us a Werebear Yoyoing. Werebear. Werebear is like a werewolf, but it's a bear. And yo-yo, we all, I think, know what yo-yoing is. Question I'm thinking right now in my head is he going to be doing a good job of yo-yoing? Is he going to be doing a trick? But let's start with the bear. So, with a big head and snout with ears up here. Big body, big belly. Uh, Maybe we can have him double yo-yoing. Like that. Think about some of these D&D creatures, like the Werebear and this or the dire boar and the werebear. Is it in some ways it's really hard to tell the difference between that and just a drawing of an anthropomorphized cartoon bear. Um, Not, I mean, it's not really a problem, but it certainly is a challenge. Like I was showing earlier when I was showing the sticker designs, the GIF. What certainly was started out as a GIF, which in D&D is a creature, a hippo creature, just look like hippos to anyone that doesn't know that it's D&D. And that's, again, I say, not a problem. In fact, it's a feature, not a bug. But some folks I know get a little bent out of shape when people say, "Oh, it's a hippo." No, it's a GIF. Well, what is a GIF? GIF is a hippo creature. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about the fact that basically this is going to look like a bear doing a yo-yo because that's what it is. It's a werebear though. We know between us, we know. Um, if I was doing this, I'm really not confident that my yo-yo hand positions are accurate, but I think that there's no way that anyone's going to confuse this for anything but what I intend it to be. So that's all right. So I could have that arm out rather than down. I do often talk about the fact that one of the keys to doing good drawings is the posture you choose for them, so they don't just seem um, they're not stiff. Right? They want to feel like they're in motion. And standing around yo-yoing is kind of stiff. So I'll show you what I'm doing here to play that out. By moving this, originally I had the arm down at the side and the hand up like this. Zoom in, right? If this is the body, I had the arm down like that. But I've moved the arm to be out like that because it just gives him a little more motion over there. On this other side, instead of having, you know, the hand just boringly kind of going out to the side, I've got it on a curve and coming up like this. And instead of having the yo-yos go straight down, which they always do, I've got this one going out and coming forward, if you look at that. And this one coming out that way, and it's crossing in front of the face. So these are little posture decisions I've made to make the drawing a little more interesting. I've also, instead of having the bear be standing straight up and down, you'll notice the bear is kind of standing with a bit of a stoop. His belly is adding to that idea, and the legs are going to be have these bends in them, which again just helps give the feeling of more more mobility rather than just being a stiff drawing. There we go. Depending on what it was, I was thinking that maybe I would have the uh, the creature doing the yo-yo having failed and have the yo-yos wrapped around them, but I don't. I don't want to see the bear that angry. Okay, here we go. What am I most confident in here? It's the nose. Everything's going to revolve around that nose. The whole face. I wasn't sure. I thought about maybe giving the bear a half-lidded look, so he looked a little cooler. But take that off there. See, rather than full eyes. Yeah, maybe I will. I was about to say, but I changed my mind. But now I've changed my mind back again. Again, it's just adding that little extra bit of personality to the drawing. Eyebrows. I often, some people will call me on this. Some people don't like this, but I very often will have eyebrows floating above the head, unconnected. Um, it's it it's unreal, right? That certainly doesn't ever happen, but it allows to get uh, a little extra personality in a face shape. All right. And what do we got going on here? We got a little going to the back. Again, we want that big belly. You can see, and I've got that his back, if you're thinking about it, his back is going there. His front's also coming out here. So that he's kind of pear shaped, this bear of ours. As I said before, I'm making that leg bend. Not liking how that toe's coming out. The leg is bending in, so it's not just going straight up and down. We're showing that he's leaning a little. And this other leg we're also bending, and I think I'm going to put it a little behind the other foot so we see them crossing over a little back there, back here. You see that the shading, I'm also have that curve that I'm trying to give to the leg. All these little details help to emphasize these points so that you don't have to draw it. You don't have to, you don't have to, in fact, you shouldn't draw it with so much emphasis. You'd want to get it to subtly show up there for you. You've got this arm also coming with that arc. I'm being a little careful here. You know, I shouldn't be. Because drawing digitally, I can change things any way I need them to. But if I was drawing on a piece of paper, I would have to leave space for where that um, string is going to come out of, like that. Now, drawing things in motion, always a challenge. Getting the speed lines to make it look like the yo-yo is spinning. Definitely a challenge. Here, let's erase so that we can have the string pass in front. Now it's going to require me to touch up the nose and those spots on the cheek. Mm-hmm. There's little bits of motion on the hand. So the bear is going to be standing still mostly. But the arms have to have a little bit of motion to get the yo-yo to go. I'm thinking. I'm now silent because I'm thinking. Um, Another thing that's going to make him seem more like a bear than a werebear is these. Think about a werewolf. They're usually wearing clothing because they were human. They change it to a wolf. This werebear's not wearing any clothes. Oh well. All right, let's turn off the sketch layer and see what we've got here. We've got looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Need a few extra bits here and there. I love if I look up, I see you guys are having a conversation. I want to be part of it. I'm also so glad you guys are having a fun conversation. All right, looking good. Looking good. So I don't know if you can see the things I was talking about the posture coming out and how that plays into the final look for this guy. But let's go and do some color. Do some coloring. Now, I always talk about that shape within a shape. Talked a little bit about it earlier. Um, and when you've got a character like this, which is basically just one big mat of fur, kind of like the boar was before, we're gonna have to identify those shapes. So let's look for them. I think it's pretty easy on the hands. Each of the fingers is its own shape. Right, the thumb and the index in the middle, and it was only got 3 fingers, so there. The lower part of the arm is its own shape, and in this case could be 2 if I wanted to draw. If I wanted to draw attention to the fact that I've got musculature-wise, I've got a muscle here and a muscle group there. If that was important, I could put that in, but it's not. It's just a cartoon arm. So I'm going to do that, and then the upper arm is its own shape. Now over here on the belly, I'm going to make the brush bigger. I want to emphasize some of those things I talked about before, like the belly, the coming out and being in front of everything else. Let's do that again. The gloaming brush works really well in that you can go over spaces that won't add extra color unless you stop and then start again, in which case it adds color on top of the color already there. And then the top of the chest, there's another one where if it was important, I could do one pectoral muscle and the other pectoral muscle. But it's not, and in fact that creates a little bit too much of a weird reality. And so I'm just going to use that as the shape of coming across here over to the back. The legs, like the arms, are just single shape, but I'm coloring. I don't know if you notice, I'm coloring in the direction that I want the legs to be. So that's also helping to emphasize that shape. The toes will each get their own. The tail will get its own. Over here on the face, the cheeks. I'm going to make a darker brown for the half-lidded eyebrows. And I'm going to go for a fake dark blue version of black for the nose. Pardon me. A light tan for inside the ear. Need a sip. And what? We need some colors for our yo-yo. So one yo-yo will be red. Maybe with a yellow side. And the other one will be green. Oh, did I say green? Apparently I meant yellow. No, I meant green. Um, with an orange side. And then we'll use a yellowish brown for the string. I was talking about how difficult it is to get the idea of motion while adding a little bit of the color to your spinning lines will be helpful to do that. What else do I want? I want to put a little light blue shading into the smile. Just a little bit in the eyes. And we'll come back and put a little brown shading. Not a lot. Again, to emphasize these shapes again. Anywhere that I was interested in emphasizing the shape difference, just put a little bit of shading on its edge. Like so. Even put a little extra to emphasize the furriness. Not a lot, just a little. And the nose too, I think. That's not dark enough. Go. And I think we have ourselves a fairly convincing, no, Yo-Yo Bear. Yo-Yoing Bear? Bear Yo-Yo? I don't know. Yo-Yoing Bear, I think is the way I want to say that. boop, 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 doot, doot. Um, so I'll come back here to the inking layer and put a little stand under the yo-yo. Because we have ourselves a werebear, or just a bear, yo-yoing. Ah, done. Yeah. Ah, yo-yoing bear. Let's see. I gotta scroll up and see what's going on in the chat here. You guys are having fun. Uh, shoot the moon. That's me. Pear-shaped mommy Lala. Lala, you got nothing on the pear-shaped bowl stand here. um, shoot the moon. What do we else gotta do? Were you fond of yo-yos? Oh, I don't know. Were you? I was obsessed with them for a very short time. Yeah, yo-yos. They seem to have a magic fad moment every 10 or 15 years. Yo-yos become hot again, and then they're not. And I've known several people. Like when I went to high school, there was a moment when yo-yos were hot, and I had at least one or two friends who severely got into yo-yos. And then in my late 20s, maybe early 30s, yo-yos became hot, and someone I knew then who hadn't done it uh, uh, in the high school age suddenly got into it. And then about 10 years ago now, I seem to remember yo-yos getting hot again, and some younger people I know getting into yo-yos. So every generation has a yo-yo phase, and I think that's kind of cool. Um, oh, got a little chemistry, going on in the chat room. The physical science chemistry. Yo-yo, Michael and Lala, both both chemistry people. Who knew? Oh, wow. Magic tricks? I don't really know any magic tricks. I was into magic for a very brief period when I was in 8 or 9, and I never really got that bug again. But doing some kind of drawing that's a stage magician drawing, I don't need to know anything about magic other than like sawing a person in half or some other trick, just a hat with a rabbit coming out of it, or some such. All right. Lala, you weren't here earlier when I was talking about the stickers that I'm going to be making based on some drawings that were done in the show. Well, I've made them before, but I just sent some to print today, which are based on things that were drawn recently. Again, I guess I could show those again because why not? Who's stopping me? It's my show. Yeah, so I had the centaur on the pogo stick from our night of 100 characters that didn't quite reach 100, and the dragon skateboarding are both having both of those made into stickers, and they originally came from drawings done on this show, which I just think is a fun factoid. All right, I just need to hit my phone here so it doesn't ding again. And Bear Yo, Werebear Yoyoing. I've just talked myself out of breath. Have another sip, and we'll do an outro and wrap it up for the evening. Okay. Shh. There we go. Werebear Yoyoing was our third prompt. Before that, of course, we had the uh, Adventurer fashion magazine cover, and before that, that one cracked me up. We had a dire boar uh, starting a garden, digging a garden, and those were our drawings for the evening. A fun evening was had. Lala was in the chat with us. Michael's in the chat with us. Uh, who else was? Perry was in with us for a bit. May still be here. I don't know. I know. I look over here. We've got about 5 or 6 other people who are watching and not chatting, which is okay. Again, not trying to push you. You're welcome to sit and silently watch. Um, I'm glad to know you're there. Glad to know you're enjoying it. I hope everyone has been having a good time. I sure have. Had a good evening. 3 drawings. Lots of friends. I talked about some stickers that are coming up. And if you want to get some of those stickers, you can drop me a line. Leave a comment. You know what? No matter what, after this wraps up, I said it would be super helpful, of course, if you click the like, which it would be. What's also super helpful is after we wrap up the live show, if you're enjoying this, if you're watching this on replay, if you've been in the chat room and didn't want to say anything, taking just a couple of seconds to leave a comment. You go and leave a comment on this video. Say, thumbs up, Stan, really liked it. Or, oh boy, that yo-yo reminds me of my youth. Or, that doesn't look like a boar at all. Boars look like something else. Let me know. I'm open for it. Or if you have suggestions, we're saying Mommy Lala was suggesting that we maybe do some magic tricks. If there's other things you'd like to see me add to the encounter uh, tables for, I don't know why I stumbled over that. If there's anything else you'd like to see me add to the encounter tables, let me know. I'll put them on. This is a show I do for fun, and I want to entertain. I want to do the kinds of things that you'd like to see. And if it's something I wouldn't have thought of anyway, even better, because this is all about random encounters, things that I wouldn't have thought of on my own. So there you go. So please do. Please give me a comment. I will thank you for it. In fact, if you leave me a comment, I'll leave you a thank you comment right back. That's just the kind of guy I am. So we had a fine evening of improv cartooning. I hope you did. I know I did. I will be back next week, next Thursday, with another episode of Random Encounters. So check that out. In the meanwhile, if you are enjoying what I do and you want to become part of my a community of other people who do and get behind the scenes information and notes from me, get drawings, anything I draw, I will send out to you in email. You'll get, presuming you open up your emails, I'll make posts of all the things so you don't have to worry about missing anything. It will all be there for you to find. And every once in a while, I do things like videos that don't go up anywhere else, or at certain levels, I send out stickers several times a year, four or 5 times a year. You'll just get stickers from me in the mail. That's a lot of fun. And of course, it's a pipeline for hanging out with other people and me who like this kind of thing. So you want to do all that? Where's the place to do it? Of course, Patreon. Patreon.com/Stanex. STANNEX. And you know what? There's a free level. You can just go and join it for free. And yeah, as these things work. Look, we're all grown up people on the internet. We understand as these things work. There's the stuff that goes out to everyone for free, and then there's other stuff that has behind a paywall, and then there's other stuff that only if you pay a certain amount. I try and push as much of it towards the free as possible. Seems fair. And then I count on the people who really enjoy it to come and join the community and shell out a few simoleons every month. I'm rambling. I'm so rambling now. It tells me that it's dinner time. So I'm going to wrap up here and get out of here. I hope you had a good time. Hope you have a good weekend ahead, and that I will see you here next week for another episode of Random Encounters. Until then,